What's good, everybody? Charles here from Team COG, coming to you guys with a test hand video. I used to do these quite a bit and kind of just fell out of favor with them, but I thought today, why not just try to get back in the groove of things? Test hands and combo videos and stuff like that are like what I really enjoy making here on, the YouTube. So I figured why not just dive back into the roots and start doing it. But this time I wanted to showcase a test hand video featuring the Flame Swordsman Infernoble stuff, just to showcase like thought process, talk to you guys about like hypotheticals and show what I mean, because I know like on the point of view or the versus series and stuff like that, you guys I can talk about and commentate saying, oh, if you do this, do that, completely off what's happening, and you just don't visualize it. So I wanted to be able to, give you guys and like maybe visualize the combo sequencing and just stuff like that, things to think about, things to do. And the good thing about these type of videos is that when I do these, maybe possibly I'm helping you to see different lines, different patterns and stuff like that, different combo sequencing. But also it allows you to go in the comments section and also like teach me a little bit too. Like it's all just a big learning experience that's good for the community. But with it, before I get further into it, please remember to hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell. If you guys want to help support the channel directly, go ahead and hit that join button and become a knight. And again, guys, like I'm kind of sorry, lack of content. I've been very vocal about my opinion of this format. I'm not a big fan of turn zero interaction, which is like what Draco Tail, K9, Vanquish Soul. That's really what it is. And I'm not a big fan, even though I know it's like popular and some people it's like an unpopular opinion, but I don't think turn zero interaction is the way the game should be going. So I decided to take like a couple weeks off and try to learn and figure out where I sit in this format. Is it a format I want to sit out of and just kind of like slowly embrace? And I still don't know yet, but I figured that should not stop me from making content and everything. So I decided to at least do something. And like I said, go back to my roots. I ended up going to a regional. I decided not to take Infernoble. Sadly, I decided to end up taking the Mermails, and Mermails performed phenomenal for me. I didn't do so hot, but all the losses were like things out of my control. Like a good example would be I knew everything in the Draco Tail player's hand, and he ended up drawing one off of Horn, which it bounces the attack position marker, draws one off Horn, so I had one unknown, and it played into Nibiru. Like, what are the chances of him drawing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just things like I couldn't control. And then another loss I had was against Ogdatic Mitsurugi, and that was just kind of wild because I literally Ashed and Impermed. I Impermed the Saji, ashed the Ritual, I believe, or ashed Prayers. It was one of the two, and then he followed up with Snake Ring, and then ended up locking me out with the alien trap and everything. But it's like, what do you do, man? Like, you can't stop it. Though I dislike the splashability of Mitsurugi, I do think that my favorite variant of the deck is in the Ogdatic, because at least it works, right? At least it's like reptiles. But anyway, I'll do a quick shuffle here, and we'll get on here into the test hand video. All right, guys, so we're all shuffled up. Do a quick cut, like tradition, and we'll do our first starting 5-hand, and I'll try and do, I don't know, like a couple, like maybe 3 or 4 test hands. Going second is kind of rough because you don't know what you're playing into, etc., the board state, you know what I mean? So we'll just do a bunch of going first test hands, which I believe this deck is like really, its biggest weakness is going second. However, with the new Flame Swordsman stuff and everything like that, and Gear Free really carry the deck going second. It's just more viable to show you particular combo sequencing through hand traps, more chummies, and the K9 cards and stuff. So anyway, our opening hand, we're going to draw into Effect Veiler, Ogier, Turpin, Heritage of the Chalice, and the Fighting Flame Sword. So a pretty strong engine hand, actually, but kind of crazy. I think I counted my non-engine in this list. I'm playing a total of 15 non-engine. I think the deck list is at 41 currently, and arguably you need, the only thing you should know is you should always be playing, at least I feel like in this format, at least one of the Mulchummies, whether it be Perilia or Fuwa. You should be playing one of them essentially. But anyway, draw phase, we'll just quickly fire off the Fighting Flame Sword. I'm really happy that the Droll is kind of falling out of favor in the main deck, so that helps us, but still, just to play around it, we'll go ahead and grab ourselves the Dark Flame Swordsman here. So again, this is our opening hand right here. Playing into the K9 stuff is kind of crazy because this card just turns K9s alive, which does suck. And it's just kind of like, wow, Konami over here giving us a really crazy support, Fire Warrior support, but then turn around and making an engine based on cards that activate in the hand. Like, what the heck? But anyway, we'll go ahead and activate the Flame Swordsman here to go ahead and send down our Fighting Flame Dragon and summon out the Dark Flare Swordsman. Cool enough is that we do have a starter in the form of Ogier and Heritage of the Chalice. Even if we didn't have Ogier, we would have like a starter right here as well, like a 2-card combo. So this card does lose to Ash Blossom, but again, their opponent loses Ash, right? So effect, tribute for cost. Essentially, this card says discard Ash, and if they don't have to discard it, you're okay. and we'll go ahead and summon out our Fighting Flame Swordsman and use the effect. So normally, you could search out the trap card, the Fighting Flame Dance, but I kept breaking on that card tremendously, and I decided to cut it. But at this regional where I played Mermail, there was a guy representing Flame Swordsman Infernobles, and he was playing the Flame Swords Realm. This card makes the 2-card combo of Ricciardetto and Museum significantly better, but I didn't really get to like see the true like application of it. So I put it in, so we're testing it here to see, because otherwise you just search out your other copy of the Fighting Flame Sword, which we've already used, so it's just another settable / follow-up for the following turn. So you search one of these. So for the sake of this video, we'll search out the Flame Sword Realm, which, I mean, it's not terrible because it allows us to put out the level 5 Flame Swordsman pretty easy. It's an extender in a way. The one thing I do not like about this card is the way that Konami designed it. It says it has to send a monster card from hand or field, which I think is crazy. Why would you give the trap cards trap effects when they're in graveyard and not allow a Sword Realm to discard them? And it like you have equip spells. You pretty much made the Flame Swordsman stuff also work around equips. So why wouldn't the Flame Sword Realm just say like send a card from hand or field? You know what I mean? And then like maybe soft lock you into Warriors or something like that. Just poor design on Konami's part. But anyway, we'll still search it here because worst case scenario, if you do get hit with any sort of hand trap, you can go Flame Sword Realm, pitching the Turpin that way open to summon out the Fighting Flame Sword or the Flame Swordsman, and then equip this either to this guy or the Flame guy or the fusion, and then it becomes a tuner, and then you can synchro into Charles. But anyway, probably we have multiple lines. Like really, if you want to like not commit your normal summon, you can use Heritage of the Chalice. Right here, we fall victim to Droll. So if they Droll us here, we have like an extender away. This hand kind of plays through a Droll. It allows us to put up a board through Droll. This is what I can like baseline see, because like you can normal summon out Veiler, synchro into Angelica. This can send. Yeah, you just have multiple lines to play through Droll in this scenario. But we're just going to pretend that Droll doesn't exist. I'll showcase maybe one of the test hands of if we get Drolled and stuff like that. Mulchummy, you know, like if we did get Mulchummy, this right here plays into it. So then probably the best thing to do would be just to go ahead and like normal summon and make Baguska and pass on the Mulchummy. You can either normal summon the Effect Veiler if you want to go ahead and give yourself your synchro here, which is why I prefer to play Effect Veiler, simply because it's a normal summonable tuner that we can just synchro off here. Or we could just go Heritage of the Chalice to go ahead and search for Renault, which I think is what we will do. I think that's the right plan. We'll go Heritage of the Chalice, search out our Renault. Just show you the streamlined standard combo here. Go and search out Renault, and then we'll special summon the Renault. Which, see, this doesn't trigger the K9 cards because it's inherent. It just happens. It doesn't start a chain. It just summons, and then effect on summon. We'll go ahead and add back the Flame Swordsman here, so that way we have potential follow-up with the Flame Swords and be able to dump because you get the trap into rotation, and then you can banish the trap to summon and everything. But anyway, enough rambling. We'll just go ahead and synchro here into Angelica. We'll go Chainlink 1 Angelica, Chainlink 2 the Fighting Flame Swordsman. Flame Swordsman will send the Salamandra, which is essentially one of the, pretty much just an equip spell, and then we add our Noble Arms Museum here. Then on a new chain, the Salamander will trigger, searching us our trap. You could also search the equip spell, but I found that the equip spell isn't that great going first because you're not trying to get to the Ultimate Flame Swordsman turn 1. But like it could come up. I remember when I was testing the deck a long time ago, it could come up that you want to do that because at the bare minimum, it's at least a pop. You know what I mean? So it's definitely something you could do. So right here, I'll just go ahead and attempt to go the Salamandra, target the Angelica, and then chain Angelica. And if they decide to throw Imperm Impulse Ash here, which is kind of wild that they wouldn't throw Ash at the Dark Flare Swordsman, because this card literally tributes for cost. It's like it's a perfect Ash target, right? So like if they held it to here, they're cooking, you know what I mean? But we're still okay just for the fact that we have access to these 3 cards through our combo, which of course this right here is still like being tested. So this right here, in a scenario of hand traps, work pretty well here. So chain Angelica. We will go ahead and send, which is interesting because I think we just send Gearfried. We have to do this little weird because we open the Ogier. Normally we send Ogier. So let's see here. We'll send the Immortal Phoenix Gearfried here down to here. And then she will banish herself and summon out our Roland. You know the phrase, see me rolling, they hate it. They see us rolling, they hate, and go and activate Museum, pay 12, and that's time in the round. That would suck. So go for Almus, just because I like Almus's flexibility that can go into Durandal through hand traps. This right here will always pretty much be used in the standard combo to add back the Gearfried, but it is nice that if you do get hand trapped, Almus can trade itself out for Durandal. I do really kind of miss Joyous in a way sometimes, just because Joyous to add back. So like we could literally go this into Joyous, Joyous add this back, and then banish this to summon the Gearfried super early before we commit into our Charles, because sometimes like Gearfried will force a Nibiru, but it forces it after you've already made Charles. So like we'd pretty much force a Nibiru pretty early here, but we'd actually get playthrough with it. But anyway, I gotta think. So we have to probably normal summon our Ogier here, since we haven't normal summoned. Use the effective Ogier to dump. Now see, this is where what's even worth dumping? Like, could we? We could dump Ricciardetto to be able to special from the hand, which I think we might do. That might be what we should do, maybe. Dump Ricciardetto, banish. I mean, yeah, it would work. At least it's follow-up, right? In the sense we can send this. This would be follow-up to banish a summon out of level 4, you know, essentially, you know, whatever we get access to. But otherwise, our other thing is we send Oliver to be able to equip. Because, like, right now, as it looks, our Charles, we're going to be able to make a pretty much an immune Charles to almost everything, the way it goes. So maybe we do send Oliver here. Send Oliver. Synchro here into double Charles, actually, I think. Oh, actually, we might be able to do a lot. We'll go here. We'll just I gotta see what we do here. The only thing is that the Dark Flare, we can't make SP, because SP requires 2 effect monsters, and the Flame Swordsman here is not an effect monster, so it means that we have to, like, do something different here. But I guess something to note, we're not warrior locked yet. I don't think anything we've used has locked us into warriors, because Museum, we only get locked if we move something forward. We haven't done that yet, and the fact that we got Charles out will prevent us from getting warrior locked. So maybe we can climb up into Promethean in a way. We'll see. Yeah, we'll just see. So then we'll go ahead and equip Almus to the Charles, and then we'll go ahead and go up here into Emperor Charles the Great. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. 2 will add back or Chainlink 1 will be Almus, Chainlink 2 will be Charles to equip, and then grab back your planner on Ghost Bell, since Ghost Bell is seeing play. And then, so like we can move this forward and then do it again, but I almost wonder if there's a way for us to snaggle out an SP. Yeah, hold up. Yeah, I got this. Yeah. So we go ahead and activate. Is this the smart way? Actually, yeah. We'll activate this. Go Gearfried, banish this. Summon out the Gearfried. Go ahead and get Gearfried established. I feel like that's the safe route here. Go here, activate this. Pitching this to summon out the Flame Swordsman. Then we can go Turpin effect to special summon itself. Then we can go effect of this, move up Charles. And then right here, we literally just can make a Promethean. We're not warrior locked yet. We're not warrior locked yet. Make Promethean. Effective Promethean to reborn out the Charles. Then we can go ahead and use our roll into equip. Go right here into our second Charles. This Charles will equip and then destroy the Promethean to go ahead and get into grave. And then, yeah. We kind of lose a lot of space here because we have to set the trap, right? Set the trap, and then, I mean, in phase, we could go in phase, pick up, and get a draw. We could essentially equip both these two to either one of these Charleses to make it, like, untargetable and undestructible. Or indestructible, excuse me. And then that right there would get us potentially pretty good. Or we can go ahead and equip... I think that's what we got to do, yeah, because we already exhausted. That's the bad thing, is that Almus is now gone, so Charles can't pick up during the in phase. So we'll go ahead and just equip these two. We'll just pick this Charles here because it's safer. And then there we go. Yeah, that's test number 1. Not too bad. So what do we got here? We go ahead and we'll just show the effect Veiler in the hand as so 1 form of disruption, 2 forms of disruption, 3 forms of disruption, 4 forms of disruption. When something becomes equipped, we have 5 forms of disruptions here, 6 forms of disruption with the Promethean in graveyard, and then the Book of Moon here to be able to, so like 7 forms of disruption. That is wild. But yeah, like I said, we're still just testing this card out to see. That was pretty cool in that scenario, but I just feel that sometimes it causes hindrance here. Maybe at the end of the video, I'll showcase an updated combo of the Ricciardetto plus Museum to show you what that 2-card combo can do with introducing Flamestorm Realm. So the other combo sequence just got you to SP, which felt really bad, or like it got you to SP or just got you to Salamander with Chain. But the new sequence, as long as you play this card, it gets you to Charles that is a spell and trap negate and then a pop. So that's still like we're still plussing out there. But I was just testing this to see how it goes and see, because I was having bad luck with this card, but the guy at the regional put me on it, talked me into it, so I told him I'd at least try it. So yeah, that's it for test 10 number 1. Let's just shoot off to test 10 number 2. And I guess, Angelica would return as well at the end of that sequence as well, so. All right, so as tradition, test 10 number 2, give a quick cut. Let's see what our opening hand is here. We'll go ahead and draw Fighting Flame Sword. Love to see it. This is awesome. Like, this is what I really wanted to show, was like what this does for the deck, for those who are just curious. Crossout, pretty strong. Turpin again, interesting. Wild. Effect Veiler and YuGiOh. So this is okay. This is pretty good. This is playable. This hand right here, as long as we opened like Crossout, allows us to like bleep out some of the generic hand traps that exist. We are playing Fua in the main deck, so that allows us to cross out a Fua, so we don't lose to Fua. Allows us to cross out Ash, Imperm, etc. So let's go ahead and run it through here. So, of course, during the draw phase, so we don't get cooked by a Droll, we'll go ahead and fire this off to search out our Fighting Darkflare Swordsman here, which Konami did us a dirty by not making this hollow, so we just got to kind of wait for a reprint set. Hopefully this card will get at least a super treatment. And here we are. So this is actually pretty decent because we opened YuGiOh, and this just kind of follows the same suit of why I'd like to play Veiler here, because I feel as though Veiler is a solid normal summon that's level 1 tuner, so it works well in situations where if you just open Darkflare plus Veiler, or Darkflare plus Ash, almost all the non-engine have the ability to work with certain iterations. So you have a lot of multiple of 2-card combos where your non-engine engine work together, and that's the way that I built the deck to kind of work. The only thing is that, what card is it? Fua. Fua is a little bit difficult because like you have to have like access to Oliver, and it's not impossible to get access to Oliver. But since the deck doesn't have like a singular 1-card combo that gets it to its full board anymore, you're very dependent on 2-card combos. However, upon playing Mermail Atlanteans, in which that's part, like there's a lot of like Atlantean Prince is a 1-card combo itself. It can do quite a bit, but it's probably the weakest out of all the combos the deck has access to. It thrives on 2-card combos, and that's the way that I built this deck, was very much in how I constructed Mermails and stuff like that. So anyway, we'll go ahead and start out our turn here by activating this. Sadly, this hand falls victim to, again, the K9 issue because of this. I mean, there's nothing we could do where this is our forced line of play. Otherwise, without access to this, our hand was looking kind of rough. I mean, pretty rough, actually. We weren't going to be able to do a lot. Maybe SP pass, but that's why you play, you play a lot of copies of the Fighting Flame Sword and multiple copies of Darkflare Swordsman, so you can open these hands. But activate this, summon out this. Summon out the Darkflare Swordsman. Go ahead and activate the effect Darkflare Swordsman, tribute in itself. If they fire Ash here, we do have the ability to cross out the Ash, so like we're not just losing to Ash on that, which is pretty nice. Our hand is, like I said, pretty weak. It normally, sometimes actually in testing and games and stuff like that, I've let them Ash this, and I've normal summoned and then comboed normally just because my hand was stacked, so it's just dependent on the hand. So this hand, we cannot afford that. So anyway, summon out the Fighting Flame Swordsman, effect of Swordsman on summon. If they don't have anything, we'll go ahead and search out our Fighting Flame Sword Realm here. It's kind of interesting because the best card to ditch off of Flame Sword Realm, I would argue, is Turpin, and the fact that we've opened it while testing this card is very interesting here. So we'll go ahead and normal summon out our YuGiOh, and yeah, just go ahead and synchro here. We've already used our normal summon here, so we're not going to get to be able to use anything like cool like we did the last hand. But anyway, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. Chainlink 2, of course, will send our Salamandra with Chain, which will be, hopefully I get a test in where I show you guys what I mean by Ash Blossom plus the Darkflare Swordsman, because Ash is 3, this is 2, so we're like able to synchro into Angelica that way as well. Synchro here, or send this here to go ahead and search out our, where is it? There it is, Noble Arms. Then on a new chain, Salamandra will activate to grab us our Salamandra chain. And just like the combo before, what I would like to do is I like to go ahead and test the waters and see if they're holding Imperm, if they know what our deck does, because this is the bottleneck of the deck right here. So very fortunately enough, the deck can play through the bottleneck. I mean, like, it's still a bottleneck, you know what I mean? Like, Angelica is the name of the deck now, so like if Angelica doesn't resolve, it's okay. Whereas before, when we had our Queen Isolde, we could make Isolde, and Isolde almost always demanded a hand trap. So then Isolde would eat the hand traps, then we just make Angelica. So, but anyway, effect of this, target this. If they didn't ash us or anything like that, we do have Crossout Designator to be able to stop most anything. We are not playing Impulse at the moment, just because I wanted it to work like Effect Veiler and stuff like that. Impulse like shuts off a lot of things, so technically you could play Impulse, so then you could, cross out Impulse as well. But anyway, I will go ahead and activate the effect here to go ahead and send our Ogier. So this will probably just show you a quick standard line of what we can do here. Banish. This is like the bread and butter combo that the deck's able to fulfill here. Effect to equip here, and then we go ahead and activate our Noble Arms Museum. Effect a Museum to go ahead and pay 12. I think we will, yeah, we're okay. Okay, I know what we're doing. We'll grab this here. Effective Museum to move forward. We're locked into Warriors. Effective Ogier to go ahead and send down our Gearfried. Go ahead and we'll Synchro Shogun here into our Charles. We can go Almas here, but I want to try. We have the ability to establish a Little Knight, so we'll go Almas effect and truly get the effect of Charles during the end phase. To destroy and equip, effective Durandal, destroy itself. We'll search out our... Now, see, I totally forgot. We do have access to our Ricciardetto in the graveyard, so, like, we can potentially summon out something, but we're going to add Renault here. Special Renault. Renault's effect, we will target and add back the Gearfried, and then we can go ahead and use our Roland to equip to Charles. I mean, actually, hold up. Oh, no, we have to do it this way. Yeah, Roland equip to Charles. Go ahead and go here into the Emperor. Emperor's effect to equip. And then now we can go Gearfried by banishing the Almas. Summon down Gearfried here. Don't put it here, because we're going to potentially... We're not potentially. We're going to make it. So we can go and special summon out the Turpin now. Or we do have the ability, since we do have Sword Realm, to summon out the Flame Swordsman, but I don't think that's the correct way. And it's in a hand like this where it's like, oh man, if this was the equip spell, we could potentially have the Flame Swordsman on top of everything, but it's okay, because you're either getting a pop or a book, and I would much rather have the Ultimate Flame Swordsman on the follow-up to be able to OTK with, because this card clears bodies. I've won so many games by baiting and then just smacking him down and whacking, so... It's okay. We don't need the equip spell, because the equip spell is just another brick in the deck. Whereas going first, it doesn't really do nothing. It's just in your hand, or at least this is a disruption, right? So we can special summon out our Turpin, because we control a monster that's equipped. Link here into our SP Little Knight. I do think there's a Synchro 6 that we could potentially play if we wanted to. If in this scenario here, we could have potentially played to pick up another card. Stardust Charge Warrior, and there's like, I don't know its name off the top of my head, but it looks like an Infernoble Knight, but it's not Infernoble Knight. But we could have done that. We could have summoned this out and then synchroned into it, picked up a card, and then special Turpin and gone off. But it just depends. We do have some flex space in the form of like Amblowell. Amblowell is not mandatory in the deck list. It's just under certain hands I found myself being able to make him, but not come up often. So maybe that's just something to consider as well. Also, with the lack of Baron, synchroing into 6s aren't as cool, because like we don't have a Synchro 10 to make. So I mean, it is what it is. But sometimes like picking up a drawing card, no one's going to argue and say drawing a card's not good. So anyway, yeah, here we are. We'll go ahead and set our Salamander with Chain. We can go ahead and set our Cross out if we haven't used it. This is in our hand. And then during the end phase, Angelica will come back. And then we can equip our Durandal. If you are fearful of Imperm, equipped Oliver. But if you want to get a draw, you can just go ahead and equip out Malgus. And then I guess if you did decide to play like Stardust Charge Warrior, or decide to play that Synchro 6, which I can't remember the name of at the moment, if you decided to play either of those, you would draw one, and then you could use this to pop and then shuffle back and draw another. So you would draw 2 through your combo, which would be very nice, especially since you are playing quite a few non-engine in the deck. So like drawing into another Ash, drawing into Imperm, drawing into like stuff like that would be nice. In conjunction with the Veiler, even drawing into a second Veiler would be nice, because Veiler is not once per turn. But yeah, so that's it for test hand number 2. Let's go ahead and wrap it up and jump on into test hand number 3. All right, guys, all shuffled up. We'll go ahead and do the traditional cut. And let's see what our first opening 5 are here. Fua, which is not terrible. Fighting Flame Swordsman, which is good. Salamander Chain. Okay, here we go. Fighting Flame Sword. All right, okay. And then Oliver. Okay. So, again, sadly, I wish... man, I just really wish that they would have made the Dark Flare Swordsman just summon a level 4 Lower Fire Warrior. Been so much better, because it would have made this like a one-card combo, but so sadly it's not. Even though this card is insane, like I believe... I try to compare it to the Atlantean Neptibus as a starter. It's just we just got hosed by the generic... by Konami, you know what I mean? But anyway... let's go ahead and think here. So we have this in our opening hand. Fuwa, so if we're going second, we can just pitch Fuwa so it can get ashed. I mean, that is what it is. But what we have here is the ability, and this is also what I was talking about. Flamesword Realm should have been able to discard anything. So like we could have pitched this to the graveyard. So that way we could potentially have made, you know, the Fighting Flamesword. But anyway, no point in crying over stuff that's already, you know, no more that, you know, it's done. It's already done. So we can normal summon this, search out Flamesword Realm. Or I guess draw face, fire this. Yeah, so draw face, Fighting Flame Sword. Which is crazy we've opened this 3 hands in a row. Because sometimes at locals or when I'm testing with this deck, I play, you know, 3 of Fighting Flame Sword. I don't even see it, but here we are. Add the Dark Flare Swordsman. So here's something I guess to note. So activate the Dark Flare Swordsman. Send this here. So if they have Izuna, right? This is like one of those hands. I mean, it'd been better if this was like Imperm or something. But if they have one of those hands... you can potentially do this to summon this out. They go Chainlink, activate in hand, of course. Chainlink to Izuna, summon effective Izuna to go ahead and dump. You can chain the Flame Swordsman here, removing itself if they have no response. Well, it doesn't matter if they have response. So anything, then you can throw Fuwa here to be able to get a draw because they'll summon Lupus and XYZ on your turn. So it'll allow you to pick up a draw at least the combo. It just allows you to have functions and stuff into these hand traps because I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, that's something you can do with Flame Swordsman plus like the Mulchummies, Flame Swordsman plus like Imperm, is that you contribute it for cost, and then your field is now open. As long as you don't have any cards, you can then pitch like the Perilia, the Fuwa, or throw Imperms that way to counteract things like the K9 Izuna and stuff like that. Holy Sue and stuff. I still think Vanquish Soul is Holy Sue's a war crime. I mean, I'm just going to die on that hill. I think that card's ridiculously designed. I think that for a deck like Vanquish Soul, it's just insane. I think that Holy Sue should not have been able to do everything it does. I think by it just putting itself out there on turn 0, which allows you to bounce back for like Caesar, would have been just enough. But anyway, I'm just not a big fan of Holy Sue. And then combine that with K9 stuff, it's insane. Anyway, not to complain. I'm not traumatized or scarred by Vanquish Soul K9 or anything like that. But anyway, summon this, effect of this. We'll go ahead and grab ourselves the Flamesword Realm. A cool thing here is, again, since most of your hand traps work in conjunction with the Flame Swordsman, they also work in conjunction with this. So I guess that's something to put out here. This line, this like particular sequence will beat the Imperm on Angelica, which is also nice. So we can go ahead and activate Oliver, pitching the Flame Swordsman here. I would not use the effect of this one here, just because you want to chain block the Angelica so you don't just lose access to a museum because of Ash Blossom. Even though, again, why wouldn't they throw Ash at the Dark Flare Swordsman? You know what I mean? But some people know what decks do, man, and they do hold them. They do. They definitely do. Summon here. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. Chainlink 2, of course, will send our honorable equipped there. Infernoble Arms Salamander with Flying Chain. And then add the Museum. We can't use the effect because we already opened it, which, I mean, if you're playing against someone who knows, then they'll know, but it's okay. Effect to go ahead and... we'll go Oliver effect to equip here. This is how you're beating Imperm. Almost forgot. I literally just said that. Oliver to equip here. And then we'll go ahead and go Salamander effect to equip here. And then if they have Imperm, they can't Imperm us. If they do have, again, like Ash, Impulse, you know, something else that can stop us, we do have the ability to go Museum into our Durandal into potentially another follow-up or something. And then we can go Flamesword Realm, pitch the Mulchummy, summon out, make Charles and stuff that way. So do take note of that. So there you go. There's, again, that's what I want to showcase in this test hand video is you're sequencing through the choke point, which is Angelica. It's very much like a Synchron trying to focus through or do stuff or trying to like pivot through plays through Speeder getting hit. Whereas we're slightly a little bit better. I would not say better, but we're better off. Like a Speeder is a resolve or lose type of thing, I feel like, with Synchron, whereas Angelica, in a bad hand, Angelica has to resolve. It's not every hand she does, simply because we do get disruptions through our combo sequencing and stuff like that. So whereas like Synchron, like if Speeder doesn't resolve, there might not be able to make anything. Whereas like in this scenario I just said, if our choke point doesn't resolve, we have lines to be able to put up Charles which is a spell and trap and a pop. We already hard opened the Book of Moon, so like we have like 2 to 3 disruptions through our choke point, whereas like a deck like Synchron might not be able to if Speeder gets hit. But like we're trying to function the same way by having contingency plans. Anyway, equipped here, and then Angelica will send and run away to go grab her husband, Roland. Send this to go ahead and banish her. These two fall off. It does suck losing access to like Oliver pretty early on, but like that's honestly one of the best ways to utilize Oliver early in a combo. And something to note too is with that hand, if we didn't get access to the Dark Flare Swordsman, we could have also just normal summoned the Fuwa and then used Oliver pitching to go ahead and summon out and synchro that way, because we didn't have the ability without drawing into the Dark Flare Swordsman to be able to play. So that's a particular sequence. So that's what I meant when I said that all the hand traps kind of function together with everything. They all have value and everything, so they're not just sitting in your hand sometimes. I mean, it's hand dependent, right? You could draw a handful of hand traps and not be able to do anything. So anyway, here we are. Go and activate Museum. I'm going to use Museum's effect. Museum's effect to go ahead and search. I'll go ahead and grab Almas here because I don't know where I want to go with this hand. And then we'll go ahead and go Ogier effect to equip, Museum effect to move forward. Museum will send Gear Freed. Okay, so here we are, just making sure everything's still nice and neat for you guys. Synchro here for Charles. Effect of this to equip. Do I want to do that now? Because I'm just trying to think here. I potentially can go into... Because I'm warrior locked now. So it's like, is that the line? Do I go and grab, use Almas, grab Durandal, grab out our Renault special, add back Gearfried? Maybe we wait. Because now we'll just go ahead and equip this. Go up here. Good thing I caught that, guys. That almost like blotched the whole test stand here. And I apologize. Add this, equip this, Gearfried, banish this, summon out this, and then set Salamandra. Yeah, so maybe it is worth running the Synchro 6 like Stardust Charge or like that. I still can't think of the name. But this is our inboard here through that test hand. This comes back. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 forms of disruption, which isn't super terrible. Again, drawing a card would have been kind of nice. So maybe, I mean, I have yet to make this card a lot. So like it's come up, I think, once in all my testing. So maybe it's time. Maybe this does become like the Synchro 6 that I'm thinking of. But anyway, yeah, good thing we caught that, guys. That was close. I can't believe I almost threw that. Warrior locked and I'll make Promethean. Wow. Anyway, let's shoot on. We'll do one final test hand here. All right, guys, here we go. The final test hand. We'll do the traditional, as I've said, all these test hands cut. And let's see what our first 5 cards are here. So starting out, we get Oliver again. Okay. Cross out Ogier, the Fighting Flame Sword, which is pretty good. Which is this hand is going to be just like what we just did, and then Renault. So actually, this hand is pretty okay, pretty gas hand actually. So we can normal summon this. We can normal summon the Fighting Flame Sword. Use the effect instead of going for actually the Flame Sword realm. We'll just go ahead and grab ourselves the Fighting Flame Sword here, because that will allow us, if they do have Droll, we can chain this to search out Realm, the Trap, or Dark Flare Knight. So we do have a pretty good line here. What's wild is I play like all the names, even all the Infernoble names are at 1, and it's just kind of crazy. While like you play a lot of 1-ofs, but you're consistently seeing the same 1-ofs, you should be seeing like different 1-ofs. But yeah, anyway, I will just add this here. So this hand is going to be your traditional sequence here, but again, opening cross out, which is wild because I play cross out, talents, and call by. And we saw cross out twice. So like it's just kind of interesting. I gotta love the probability and stuff of like deck shuffling and stuff, all that fine stuff. Anyway, special. Do we special out Renault, or do we just try and do Oliver pitch summon synchro for Angelica? Yeah, I think this hand's gonna be like an SP. Have an SP on top of it. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. The traditional technique of sending Salamandra, adding this, effect of Salamandra, we grab our trap. Salamandra chain. effect of now. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been ogred on Angelica before, so potentially you could equip both these and then do it if you're truly fearful of ogre. And I don't know, with Triff topping YCS Vancouver and with that big play on ogre onto Dice Smasher, maybe that might be the correct line to do. So just for the sake of the video, we'll play correctly because we're not playing ogre, so we can't cross it out, so we're not protected by ogre. However, we are able to protect ourselves from like Effect Veiler and Imperm, so maybe the correct line is to go equip Ogier here and then go Effective Salamander to attempt to equip. That way, if they do have Ogre, they can't stop it, but we have Cross Out to stop Imperm, Effect Veiler, and everything like that. So go effect of this target, Chain Angelica. I think we just go ahead and send Turpin. Go ahead and banish here. That's kind of wild. Yeah, send Turpin. Go here. Then we can go ahead and go effect to equipped here. Equip Noble Arms, effect of this to go ahead. And I feel as though we grab Almus, and Almus will go into Durandal later on here in a second. Effect of Museum, move up the Ogier. Ogier effect to dump. Gearfried. We are past 5 summons, so then I guess something to address is if we do get nibbed, we had the ability to play through it very well because of the Fighting Flame Sword. And Almus, like we're sitting pretty well through nib, is what I'm saying, is because of the Fighting Flame Sword and everything. So that's what I tried to say, like when I did deck profiles. I feel like this deck can eat through like 1 to 2, maybe sometimes even 3 pretty big hand traps in a way. Not big hand traps, mini hand traps, you know, like 1-for-1 hand traps, Ash, Imperm, Veiler, Bell, all that stuff. Like this deck can eat through those hand traps if we open an average hand. It's just when you get to like Droll and Lockbird, and then like even Nibiru, most of the time, like by the time they Nibiru us, even if we can't continue on, our inboard is still going to be okay because like Angelica returns, we have a Book of Moon. So like our inboard's not like just a nib token essentially. But anyway, we'll go ahead and synchro here for Charles. I think we just go Almus here. Almus to go ahead and grab ourselves our this effect of this. I think, do we just grab follow-up? Is that maybe the line? Is follow-up here with Ricciardetto? I think so. Effect of this to equip to Charles. Synchro up here to the Emperor. Emperor effect to equip. Special Renault. Renault, go ahead and target the Gearfried. Add it back. Go ahead and activate Gearfried. Banish the Almus. Establish Gearfried. So if they have nib, they haven't used it, they got to use it here. Otherwise, Gearfried will just stop it. Then we can go ahead and go the Fighting Flame Sword to go ahead and search out Dark Flare Swordsman. We can activate the Dark Flare Swordsman, sing the Fighting Flame Dragon to summon itself. This card's so cool, being like a circular, man. I think that's so wicked. Synchro off here, or not synchro, Linkro Shogun into our SP. Set this. We go in phase. Angelica comes back. What's cool now is, like I said before, is we equip this and we can equip Malgus, so then we can get a potential draw, depending on like your space and everything. But our inboard is still pretty formidable, I say. I don't want to say like this deck has the ability with Roland and Angelica that it can really become unbreakable, because Angelica can stop the board breakers like Super Poly, Droplets, Dark Ruler. But this is pretty formidable nonetheless, even without that type of thing. So we have 1, 2 forms of disruption off of Charles, a spell and trap negate in the pop, 3 off Little Knight, 4 off Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, 5 with the Book of Moon, and then untelling what we could potentially draw when we negate with the Malgus. We shuffle back our Fire Warriors. We could draw into either Effect Veiler or, no, in my luck, you would draw into the Imperm, which I showed here. You draw into Imperm, and then it just sits in your hand. Whereas, like, that's why maybe Imperm should be traded out for Impulse, but I don't know yet. Just the luck of thing. You have, what is it, 3, 6, you know, it's like 6, even Fua's kind of dead too. But in the case, worst case, you know what I mean? Like potentially drawn to something worthwhile. But anyway, yeah, guys, so that is it for the test hand video here. Please remember, if you guys enjoy this type of content, comment down below. Let me know, like, during the different lines you guys would saw, like if you guys were seeing different particular sequencing and stuff. I do know that there's different lines you can do if you're playing like the different Fighting Flame Swordman cards, but I just chose not to. So keep that in mind, but definitely don't feel it, like comment down below different board sequencing and stuff you could have got to. Anyway, yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. Charles from Team COG signing out.